Hey, bud. How's it going today? You and your fatherly duties.
Oh gosh, here we go. Yeah, so far so good. Just
So
asked my
far,
kid if he
so
was hungry.
good.
Hey, it's the typical. Hey, Josiah, you hungry? No. But as soon as so right now he's been into this VR headset that we got for Christmas like crazy. He's in
Oh,
this
yeah.
called something Boon or something, but this dude fucking I'm biased in the sense do I really want my kid to be a gamer? Because I know at the same time he loves to play outside, right? But I know what's gonna happen, right? He's gonna find about an hour and a half. He's like, I'm so hungry. He'll take 2 bites and then go back to playing the game. I'm like, so it's just understanding that, like, all right, dude, like you're gonna eat all your food. I'm not gonna sit here. You tell me you're hungry now, and then you want me to cook, and you take 2 bites. Now you just take enough to. Nah, that's not happening. So we're
And
gonna
he just trying to fuel himself to get back in that virtual reality world, man.
yeah, dude, and it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Being a dad, man. I love it. I love being a dad. Don't get me wrong. Honestly, sometimes I wish I could be challenged more and have at least. I've always realistically wanted two and then adopt one, but God didn't make it. It didn't happen that way. So I got one, but I got one that's 3 kids. You know what I mean? The boy's active, man. He's a ball of energy, but I love it too. I can horseplay with him pretty roughly, and he takes like he can. I treat him like a boy as he should, right? I'm his first bully,
Yeah.
as dad should be, right?
Oh, goodness.
but
Oh, goodness.
I love it. And especially now I'm about to retire. So I'm gonna be in his life at the most, I feel like the most pertinent time of when he needs me from preteen to teenage years as being the dad, a father figure, man of the house. I think these are the most quintessential times for him that he needs me around. And I'm glad I'm retiring and going to be able to enjoy these moments. I think too, like, and I'm going to admit it, I feel like when he was a baby, it was cool. I got my son and I
Yeah.
got to, fortunate enough, before I left to go to ride, the one thing I got to do with him was teaching how to ride a bike. Josiah was riding a bike before, without training wheels before he was 3 years old. And I'll send the video over
Oh,
if we
that's
can
dope.
post it. But
That's dope.
yeah, I had him riding a bike before he was 3 without training wheels. Right. So that was the one thing I was like, dude, like, and I remember too, I used to take him out from the time he started walking. He had a strider. It was just a gradual up to finally he got to a pedal bike. And that was my biggest thing was like, before I leave to go to work, I was like, get him to be able to ride a bike so he can do something fun as a kid without his mom having to chase him like that. And luckily enough, like he can even get off. You didn't have to push him. He could get off, start the bike, everything. So that part of fatherhood was cool. But when he was a baby, it was like, he's a baby. I can't do nothing fun with it. I think realistically, a lot of dads go through that. It's cool that you have your child, right? They're a baby, but you can't, dads are active, right? So you can't do much with them except nurture and hold them. Like realistically, you just excited. I can't wait till my kid can walk because then we can start doing this. I know I'm not, I could probably realistically say, I know I wasn't the only one that was saying that in my head, but like when he was a baby, he was a baby. It was cool. I loved, he was small, he was tiny. I could hold him. But now that he's big, it's like, bro, we can go hang out. Let's go. So that's what it is. But yeah, man, let's get into this episode of fatherhood, man. Welcome back to the game. Grumpy Gills Kickback, my boy, big Grump over there. Your boy Stump. Sorry, a little bit stuttery, man. Still a little bit tired from this gym workout.
Responses don't require reaction. And that's it. What's up?
Yeah.
How you doing?
And me, we got over there, but I'm right to yourself. You're trying to make yourself better each day. There's somebody out there fighting.
Like it was, I forget, because we were going through, I forgot what we were going through some inspection. He's like, it's going to make you look fucking crazy. Sure enough. And she's like, she's like, freaking yoga. Yeah. That is a freaking 100%. All that stuff. That's all stuff that's like appearance, small stuff. I heard. But anyways, yeah, man, fatherhood. How, like, in your eyes, knowing your story, how do you think you would be as a father when you have kids? What are some morals and things that you would like to cherish and pass on to your kids when you do have them? Or things that you remember from when you were a kid with your dad? What are some things that you got from him that you want to carry on to your kids?
Like we talked about one episode, communication, that's the biggest thing. Is going to be one of the things. Don't get me wrong, there's still going to be discipline and stuff like that. and understanding the relationship of a lot of things. When I was growing up with my dad when he was alive, I was always on his hip. You know, when I was a baby, all up until I want to say 23 when he died. Even when I was a baby, we would talk, even though we butt heads about a lot of things when I got older, because I noticed as I thought back to it, we were almost the same person in a sense, identical. In fact, it's kind of hard. We were identical face to face, and that's why I'm junior. But for the most part, being a father figure, I take some of those things from him. I take a lot of things from my uncles, and I stand in place for my nieces and nephews when possible, when they need things or they want to talk to me about stuff, or when it comes down to discipline of them. Hey, yo, look, you gotta do this. One of my exes, her son, he hits me up. We still talk from time to time whenever he wants to talk about things, and he asks questions, and we talk about how's he doing at school and growing up and just being there for him. I'm almost like an uncle-like figure to a lot of people's kids as well. And it's just the same thing. It's like, hey, yo, look, go through this, do this. Oh, this is why your mom and dad are mad at you. You got to understand from their perspective. They see it from your perspective because they're just trying to stop you from doing dumb stuff. But you got to think about it. I understand you just want to be a kid. For me, eventually, when I do have my own bio kids, it just depends on the situation, right? It depends on the situation of how they're gonna grow up. One size doesn't fit all, right? The way I treat my nieces and nephews versus the way I want to treat my kids and discipline them is got to be a different way. Because at the end of the day, my nieces and nephews, they go back to their mom and they got to deal with their mom versus they got to deal with me 365, 24/7.
Yeah.
With that, yeah, I, at this point, and getting older in age, as much as I make jokes about you being old, I just want a healthy child. I want a healthy, physically able child and make them move around. And then if that doesn't happen, whatever I do get is I gotta go with it through that process and still help them make it through life. Because that's what we as parents or fathers should be doing is preparing them for life. And that's where a lot of people mess up at, and they forget that part. A lot of my time spent with my dad was him preparing me for life. He was showing me how to do things, teaching me how to iron my clothes, teaching me how to cook. Because once again, that's a skill that everyone should have. Cooking isn't just a woman thing, it is also a man thing. Because it's the basic needs and necessities of you to survive in life. Because everyone you get with is not going to know how to do that. And then just spending money on apps to get the same food that you possibly can make at home. I'm not saying being shelf quality or restaurant quality, but you can do the basic things at home. When it comes down, especially when it comes down to cooking, start off with the basics and then slowly progress to get better. Start
Yeah.
off with
100%.
like same thing with iron. Start off with something simple and then you progressively get better. I'm not gonna say you're gonna own a cleaners, but you won't go outside looking wrinkled.
Fuck with it. You got to start somewhere. It's going to be ugly when you start. And then you get down the line, it can only get better. It's going to be worse before it gets better in that turn. As far as being a father, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but would you adopt if it came down to it?
Yeah, whoever I end up with, and we sit down and talk about it, depending on how it plays out and what's going on. Yeah, I would. I've thought about this before when I was growing up, because there are many people who are out there that they just need somebody to love them and just guide them, and they had a rough go. So that's all it
Yeah.
is. It's going to be hard at first, and that's going to be the biggest thing because depending on when you receive them into your life, not get them, receive them into your life, you're going to eventually have to explain it that, oh, if you got them as a baby or between the ages 1 through 5, depending on how much they remember, you're going to eventually have to explain, like, hey, yo, I'm your father, but I'm not your biological parent. So it won't down the line, like to me personally, where people hold on to it too long to be like, hey, I know you're going through things in life, and you might file some paperwork that said you're not mine, and then it develops into a whole bunch of other things, or people say it on their deathbed, or when it's a real medical emergency, they find out dad's not my dad, mom's not my mom. Especially now with this whole these DNA finders, it doesn't matter which product you use, it's going to be like, oh yeah, obviously. Some people aren't going to notice because if you get the same race child, they probably won't notice. Or if you get a different race child, they're definitely going to notice and be like, well,
You
I
know,
don't look like you guys.
the crazy part behind what you're saying is that I just read an article about some nurse in Africa that had been switching freaking babies for decades, bro.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Can you imagine, even as a father, like you somehow, some reason down the line, your kid's like, hey, dad, I think we should get a blood test. All right, cool. And then come to find out it's not even your kid at all, bro. That would be
Yeah,
devastating. You'd have to,
there's been so many stories. There was even a TV show at one point in time called Switched at Birth.
oh, snap. I
Yeah.
think that would be devastating as a father. I guess at the end of the day, you're still went through father. It sucks that you find out like that, but at the end of the day, that's still your kid, man. You raise them from the time they're a baby till now, and some other individual was messed up. The point is like, you're still my kid. I
Yeah,
hope
at the end of the day.
that part would still reflect on, hey, somebody else did this. So I raised you from birth till at least so it sucks, but
But the problem is with that is a lot of people, they go through an identity crisis at that point in time. And that's why I said it depends on you as an adult. I can't tell you how to parent and stuff like that.
yeah,
But that's the way you got to explain things. Because, like I said, there's been many times where people waited till they their person is a full on adult living their life. They're 25 or whatever. Or some people wait until they're a teenager and they feel, oh yeah, hey, I gotta explain this. Or the child themselves finds something that is like, oh yeah, here's adoption paperwork. What is this? Why didn't y'all tell me? And that's one
yeah,
of those things that there's no real perfect time to be like, hey, we're not your real parents, or even if there was infidelity and the child was just raised in the family and
yeah,
it's like, oh, you're telling me dad's not my dad or mom's not my mom, stuff like that. And that happens more than not. And people don't find out until their teenager, their late teenage years, or their early adulthood. And then they go through this whole identity crisis where, like you said, it's not that easy to be like, hey, look, I raised you to be this type of person. I raised you to be great. And I did the best with everything that I could, because everybody doesn't have the same story. A lot of people, they go through hell. A lot of people go through hell their whole
yeah,
time because that whole switch that birth thing, you don't know what happened to those, like you talked about in Africa. You don't know what happened to those babies. A lot of those babies were probably supposed to be going to prominent homes and stuff like that. And then guess what? Boom, you're where you end up at. They end up abused or not somewhere. And that's sad. That's 110% sad. And to me personally, that's sad for people to have kids and they don't want to take care of their kids. They don't want to do the right thing by them. And I'm not saying the right thing of not providing them designer clothes or designer shoes. No, I'm talking about not providing them the basic things that they're supposed to, like food, shelter, the comfort of somebody to talk to, and being open. Don't get me wrong, that boundary is still there, but being comfortable to go talk to your parents. Don't get me wrong, I was comfortable talking to my parents about a lot of things. Don't get me, I didn't talk to them about a lot of things, but I talked to them about major things that were going on. Hey, yo, look, this is going on. I don't know how to feel about this. Because that's the people you should be getting advice from first versus somebody out on the street like my dad used to say all the time. Because they're probably going to tell you the wrong thing.
speak on what you said, and like as far as like the identity crisis, I think I went through that at a young age because the story all my life, shit, my pops is not real pops. But then as I'm getting older, I'm growing. I'm like, bro, I'm not nothing like that. So I get
Yeah.
it, and now I'm at a point where I just want to know more of who I am. So I did do the ancestry thing as of recently, which I also think will also help out with me being a father too and getting answers. I don't want to hide anything from Josiah. I want him to know as much as
Yeah.
possible. Obviously, there's a point in time where Like right now, he's at an age where he doesn't need to know everything, but I am going to tell him everything at one point. And I'm like, hey man, this is the stuff that was happening. But at the end of the day, I do love it, man. Watching him grow up and learn and seeing the mental development. I do feel like kids are a little bit more tech savvy today. Even Josiah knew how to navigate YouTube before he knew how to read. That was crazy to me, right? He doesn't know how to read, and he reads at a really high level, but he knew how to navigate the YouTube fashion before he knew how to read. It was crazy. You grab the remote and look up Coco Melon, like so. But just watching all those processes and watching him grow, like I said, man, November can't come fast enough because it's really so I can just spend more time. Even right now, we took him out of jujitsu and he's on a little break because the age bracket, he's already bigger than the class group that he's supposed to be in, but he's not old enough yet to be in the group that he needs to be at. So we just took him out and gave him a little break. But I'm like, man, I want to do some jujitsu too. So maybe I'll start doing the adult classes at least twice a week for myself, just to give him some motivation. Even we haven't been BMX racing in a while. Like,
don't forget
I
about
know he like
your spine. Don't forget about that.
I know that.
Spinal.
And
your elbow
I
and your
already
calves.
talked.
Okay.
What you
I'm
trying
sorry.
to say, bro? You trying to say?
I'm sorry.
All right. It's all good. It's all good. I get what you're trying to say, man. I'm old. I get it. But it don't matter. I'm still out here trying to be active. That's all that matters. I'm trying to be an active dad.
And that's what matters. Yes.
So if I gotta stretch a little bit more, that's it. But even another big thing, another big thing is BMX. Like, I want to get back into BMX racing just for the simple fact that was something fun to do. But for him too, I know like when he's out on track, like, Dad, can you ride the track with me? And there's been a couple of times I brought my bike and rode the track with him before his races and stuff like that. But just to kind of motivate him, I just want to do more. I want to do more with him because I do only have one child. So I do have to now and really indulge and embrace the time from realistically be the time from 5 to till he's an adult. Okay, how much? Because there's gonna be a point once he turns a teenager, he's not gonna be around his parents. He's gonna want to be around his friends, and I understand that, and I'm okay with it. But I'm hoping that it's enough where at least if he wants to be out with his friends, and I'm gonna tell him, bro, just don't hang around stupid friends, don't hang around stupid people. I hope that I build that. I'm gonna tell him straight up, bro. Don't be hanging out with stupid bros, man, because they're gonna get you messed up, and you're gonna be out here. Don't be making. These are all things that I need to make sure he can come to me like, Dad, I have a situation. Ooh, let's talk about it. So, but I also still got to discipline him too, that part,
Yeah.
But
the biggest thing. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You good?
The biggest thing I won't do is treat my children differently. And I mean, between boys and girls, that's the biggest thing. That's the thing I learned growing up because I always asked my dad why he was hard on me a lot more than he was. He was a lot more stricter with me than my sisters. And he told me this, and it makes sense, but it made sense at the time. But when you look at it now, it doesn't make sense. And it goes back to that old mentality of what is taught. Just for the simple fact of, he said this, he said, your sisters will always have somebody to take care of them. You won't have nobody to take care of you. And I'm like, all right, cool. That kind of made sense at the time because if you look at it and the way you go and the way life goes, cool. But this is what I've learned through the 39 years of being on this wonderful earth. If you find the right person that you're supposed to be with, guess what? You don't have to worry about that because they'll take care of you like you take care of them. And it won't be this stringent thing between relationships. And literally, if we tell our kids on both angles of the spectrum, don't accept less, don't accept the bare minimum, but don't expect everybody to do the same thing that everybody's going to do for you. What I do for your mother, don't get me, you can use that as the starting point, but you can't expect every man or woman to, if y'all don't have a conversation. And that's where we lack it. And that's where I feel like most of our parents probably didn't tell us about relationships or even when growing up. The biggest thing, no matter if it's a relationship, a friendship, a situationship, or you're just doing whatever, communication is always key. Communication is always the key thing right there. Never be afraid to voice your opinion. Never be afraid, matter to be man, woman, whatever you like. Be like, hey, yo, look, I don't like this. Or we should do this. We could do this. This is how we be better. This is how we're partners. And if we raise our children up to understand that one part is the same between be it you be a boy, you be a girl, or however you identify, that communication is key. That hey, I do for you, they do for you, but everybody does for each other. That's what the biggest thing is. It's not, oh, you got to do this as a man or you got to do this as a woman to keep a man or keep a woman in X, Y, and Z. If everybody's doing it, guess what? Everybody gets to eat.
That is true. That is true. And I mean, right now, like I'm working on that with Josiah, is like for him to communicate when he's mad instead of just being mad and say nothing, trying to be like, hey, look, man, I get you're mad, I get you're upset, but nothing's going to get accomplished if you just sit there and hold it all in. Because I did that as a child. I think that's a lot of times where my communication issues come through is as a dad is I would just hold stuff in. I didn't understand. No, my parents never told me like it's okay to talk. It was like do as my do was it say as I do, not as I say type thing in my parents' house, right?
Yeah.
So you just had to, if you was feeling some type of way, you just either got your butt beat and went to your room, or and that was it. It was pretty much so I don't want, even when I have to discipline Josiah, I still come in and talk to him like, do you know why I whooped you? Do you understand? Or do you understand why mommy and daddy yelled at you or whatever? You know.
Yeah.
So he's not just like, why do I get a whoop? No, I want you to understand why you got a spanking or whatever, or why you're getting sent to your room, or why you're getting put in the lean and rest. You need to understand these things. This is because of your actions. And
The
even
leading
that part,
rest. Okay. All right,
hey
sir.
man, hey man,
Drill sergeant.
hey man. But even that part of fatherhood, I love doing it because it's teaching him discipline, right? So,
Yeah.
but overall, man, like being a dad, being a father, and not even just, and what I mean by that too is being a present father, having the want to be in your kid's life 24/7. It's a special thing, man, and not no holds barred against the dads. There's different types of dads, but I think true fatherhood is when you make the choice to want to be in your kid's life 24/7, no matter how that looks like, right? And I understand things in life, but you still got to make that choice. You got to choose your kid. And I get it. There's some, just like there's women and there's some men who don't choose their kids. They choose themselves first over their kids. And it sucks, but you are missing out on something. At the end of the day, it's just like when I seen, there's a movie, it's not a movie, it's a documentary on Netflix. It's like the worst ex ever or something like that. But there was one of them where
Yes.
the
Yeah.
dad had just reconnected with his son or whatever a few years back, but the son was like he was a demon. He had to go to the prison jail and talk to him, be like, "Hey, I love you, but the reason
I
why I
know.
like this is, you know what I'm saying?" And it's, bro,
I know exactly what
yeah.
you're talking about.
And it's
I
like,
know exactly what you're
dude,
talking
you
about.
got to realize that because of your abstinence, your son turned out this way because you didn't give him the right spiritual guidance to be a better man or whatever, and you chose not to, even despite whatever you and the mom had going on or whatever. You still made no efforts at all to try and keep. And I get it. There's different
So
relationships. Right?
I'm not trying to justify I'm not trying to negate what you're saying, but if you go on Paramount, there's a 3-part series about that one specifically, and it shows more about the
Okay.
dad and his relationship. Yeah, and the dad was
Okay.
more involved in that relationship than what the one on Netflix
Oh, okay.
showed.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll watch that. But
yeah.
I'm saying in general, understand all that, man. The role you play in your kid's life is very significant, and they're watching everything. Your kid absorbs you. So even
110%.
what you give, what you don't give, and what you get and what you don't get, they absorb everything. And Josiah is a freaking mini me. He is. And he's also a mini me of my wife. And I just have to understand all that. But I love it. I love seeing the growth. I love seeing him develop. I think the most recent thing and I biggest love doing is just be able to drop them off at school and pick them up from school. So,
Yeah.
but then I don't got nothing else. I love being a dad. I hope. Sorry.
My one last tidbit, I'm sorry. My one last tidbit is to this. And I've seen this too many times coming up and through the world and not being a parent, just being an outsider. But even seeing it as I grew up too, because it happened to me, the same amount of energy that you put into one, you got to put into the other. So nobody won't feel left out. And that's the biggest thing. Also, too, we talked about this before in a previous episode. Don't try to force your dreams onto your child. If your child doesn't want to play sports and they want to be artsy or play the violin or the viola or play the piano and stuff like that, that might be more of their skill set. That might be something they want to do. Let them explore things. I'm not saying knock it out the park totally or forget about it, but remember this. Everybody's not going to want to play sports. Everybody's not going to want to do music. Everybody's not going to want to draw, but let them cultivate and be that creative that they want to be. Don't force them into something they're going to be miserable in because they're going to be like, oh, wait, the only reason why I did this was because of you. I get it. We're on a money making system. But what would you rather do? Be happy with them and not forcing them to do things that they don't want to do? Or be sad with them when you realize later on in life they're mad at you and disgruntled and they don't want to talk to you anymore and they cut you off when they're rich and famous. That's the biggest thing. And you're out there arguing, I changed your diapers. We're your parents. You don't even know the things that I like, right? I've seen that happen so many times and I watched so many sailors, soldiers come into the military and they be like, I'm getting away from my family. I don't want to be around my family because the things they forced me to do and I didn't want to do. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people, they needed that discipline. Like I heard one cat, he was like, they forced me to take a shower every day. Sir, that was not bad. That was not bad.
Oh man,
That was not bad. But then
that's
on the other picture
crazy.
of things,
That's crazy.
I heard another cat, they was telling me they were doing great things on the outside and had this great job when their family made them or made them feel bad about what they're doing. And it was legal. I forget what the job was. They wanted him to quit doing the job that he was doing and making great money to come work the family business. And something he didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And eventually it ended up failing, hence why he ended up joining the military. But hey, life happens. And at a certain point, being a parent or being a father, being a parent, let's just say being a parent, you can only say, hey, I'm doing my best at a certain point, a certain part of life, but you can always do better. You can always strive to be better because that's what you want your kids to do all the time. That's what you tell them every day, right? I want you to be better than me. Then set the bar higher than where the bar is now.
Yeah. No, that's true.
But outside of that, we love you guys. We thank y'all for sharing and subscribing and following us on the Facebook, the Twitters, the Instagram, the TikTok world. We might start doing little dancing memes. I don't know. I might get Stump over there to do a little YMCA type deal. I don't know.
I
But
just
we're trying.
opened my
We're
TikTok.
out here being creative. We're out here being creative. But
Yeah.
all serious, if you have something else that you want us to discuss within reason, once again, if you go back and look at a freedom of speech episode, we talk about why we don't talk about certain things. And yeah, stop.
No, man. One thing as a dad or as a parent, let your kids try everything and let them make a decision on what they want to do. Don't be the one, like you said, forcing dreams on because you don't know how much you're diminishing their creative spirit by doing that. But other than that, love, peace, chicken grease.
Love, peace, chicken grease. We